Well, I don't know, Mr. Delcor. Actually, the paper is usually pretty good.
I just want to go back and just bring up a personal thing to me, okay? And dealings that I had at that Hilltop meeting. You and I had a detailed conversation about a plan that I was putting together to get, we had state people involved, and we had, you know, Berry City people in town. The superintendent came to our meetings, as did our city manager from Berry City, and I was explaining to you this is going to deal with working in a conjunction dialogue with the state to how we deal with the issue of, you know, large number of furloughs in Berry and everything else. You said, I'm going to ask, see if I can get somebody from my board to go. Well, we met for 3 months, I'm guessing, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon every Monday, and not once did anybody from your board come to the meeting. That's a mutual problem, because you may live in the town, but many of the people who live in the town come down the city and were frustrated with what they believed was happening downtown. So we tried to have a public dialogue about it, Jeff, and after you and I talked about it, it never went anywhere. That's my one personal experience with having a conversation about working together.
I would say to them, Mr. Ford, that a Monday is a work day, and all of our board members, a significant amount of them work in Burlington. For them to be in Barry for a 4 o'clock meeting means they leave at.
Well, you have a city manager.
Town manager, yeah.
Town manager. I mean, Minister McKenzie came to every one of our meetings.
Yeah, you're right.
So regarding the school board, I mean, the superintendent came to our meetings because they were concerned from an education
But Mr. Poirier, I really don't want to get off the subject.
Well, that is the subject.
No, it really isn't, Mr. Poirier.
Regarding our relationships.
I guess what I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna leave, because you have other business to conduct, you have other visitors.
Well, actually, I have a couple of other subjects I'd like to, as long as you're here, I don't.
I have a meeting to go to, actually, so.
I'd like to ask one thing of you, Jeff. I've spoken with Brad Town from Berlin. I spoke with him on Monday evening. He agrees that with regard to regional public safety, dispatch is the logical place to start. Excuse me, that was Tuesday that I saw Brad. I spoke with Mayor Holler on Monday. He also agrees that dispatch is the most logical place to start. I am disappointed that the Regional Public Safety Initiative seems to have stalled out, and I've expressed that disappointment to you as I have to Mayor Holler and Chair Town on several occasions. I've also expressed my belief that I think that rather than have George Malik, I appreciate the great work that he's done, but he's a Chamber of Commerce. And rather than have George Malik, who runs the Chamber of Commerce, trying to figure out how municipalities should work together, I would like to see our 4 boards really take ownership of that public safety initiative and decide, are we going to drive it forward, or are we not? It's been lingering sort of in limbo for going on 3 years. I mean, it's been a long time, and they really have not made significant progress. So what I would love to hear, Jeff, I mean, because I have the commitment of Brad Town, I have the commitment of Mayor Holler, that they would like to see the various select boards and councils take ownership of that and really just decide we're gonna move forward with this. We're gonna really try to develop a business model that works, that is fair to all communities and works well. And I'd love to see you there at that table. So if you want to talk about the opportunity to work together and work together meaningfully, I think with regard to this community project in the lighting field, Chesterfield was an opportunity for us to get together. My initial request was simply to meet. And I'd be happy, I'll print that email in the Times-Argus. There's nothing snide about it. It was a sincere request to reach out to both communities and include the Berrytown Select Board because it had been brought up to you. And I didn't want to exclude you and be considered a snob because I excluded you. You had been asked. You had said publicly you supported the project. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to weigh in. I'd love to give you the opportunity and your Select Board the opportunity to on October 1st to join the Berry City Council in meeting with the Spalding High School Board. Another issue that I really didn't get a lot of cooperation on, Jeff, but what I did get was, my remarks were totally misconstrued by you. In a meeting of the council, I was talking about when the plant that is proposed up on the hill, the Rocket Ages plant, the asphalt plant, I was talking about the Act 250 Commission. And my concern was, I said, the Act 250 Commission keeps saying that they're going to make improvements at the intersection, a very dangerous intersection in the city of Barrie that happens to serve mostly businesses in Berry Town. And you know what? And I'm thrilled that we can support, in that regard, that we can support the industrial park, because I think the industrial park is important to both communities. My comment was that they, meaning the Act 250 Commission, had really kicked the can so far down the road, I couldn't even see it anymore. And I meant with regard to them not holding AOT's feet to the fire and making them, as AOT has promised to do, rebuild that intersection and make it safer in the city of Barry. So it would benefit both communities. You totally misconstrued my remarks and sent your caustic email to my council saying, I'm so disappointed I have to be here about the mayor's comments about the town of Barry, when I wasn't even talking about the town of Barry, Jeff. But you know, you've never once, and then when I called you to try to talk to you about that and explain to you, you know, Jeff, I wasn't talking about the town. I'm disappointed in the Act 250 Commission and the fact that they haven't held AOT's feet to the fire to make both of our communities safer. You wouldn't even return my phone calls. And
Actually,
Jeff, you know, as long as we're questioning, as long as we're, you know, inquiring of each other, how many emails have I sent you over the years that have gone unreturned, or phone calls that have gone unreturned? And after a while, you start to think, you know, you just don't want to work with the city of Barry. And quite frankly, I'm so proud of where this community has come. You know, we don't need to work with anyone, but I'd really love to. I'd love to work with the town of Barry. I'd love to work with the city of Montpelier and the town of Berlin to make public safety services safer, to make them better, to make them more widely available to people within our region. And, you know, Jeff, I'd love to have you join me on October 1st. You know, I can work with you, Jeff, but it's disappointing to me when I'm ignored. It's disappointing when I made a civil invitation to two boards to just sit down and talk about something. And if your simple answer is, hey, Tom, I don't want you telling the town of Barry when they have to raise money, Jeff, I can accept that. I'm a big boy. You know, we could have had a wide range of discussions. But what disappoints me is when I simply get no. And I ask both of you, what was uncivil about my email?
I think the email,
I think, Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I just want to say, I mean, you know, in all due respect, I don't want to have this, we have a policy about, you know, visitors and stuff.
And we've given them a lot of time. So again, Jeff, I extend my invitation. I would really like to pick up this regional public safety initiative. You know my telephone number. If you'd like, I'll call you again tomorrow morning. I would like to see the communities push it forward. I'd like to see something happen with it. And again, if you could talk to your select board, or if you just want to come as a citizen, I'd love to see you join us on October 1st at the high school board to see if there's something we can do about this lighting field project. I think if it affects your community and it affects the kids that live in your community, I'd like to hear what you have to say about it.
frankly, Mr. Mayor, every time I pick up the newspaper and read comments that are disparaging about the town of Barry, a little bit more of me disappears that wants to work with the city. I've been a loyal volunteer for my community, lived in Barry all of my life, and I have worked hard for the Barry community, not just Barry City or Barry Town, but for the Barry community. And I'll tell you something, Mr. Mayor, it really crossed my backside when I pick up the paper this past Sunday and see your comments listed the way they were. You're entitled to your opinion, and God bless you for them. But I'll say this, you don't deserve the right or the opportunity to publicly disparage or humiliate any other leader in any other community. This one, your neighboring one, or elsewhere. And I fully expect it'll be a while before I want to do business with the city of Barry. You may find other select board members that feel differently, but I doubt it. Every time we pick up the paper and we see things like that, you drive a bigger spike between these two communities. So if your goal is to drive a big spike between us, you keep print on Wednesday morning about the town of Barry, and you'll do a very good job. And with that, I appreciate everybody's time, and I'm sorry I took so much.
So the answer is no.
The answer is no.
Okay. Thank you for your time. And with that, council.